Holy cow, Eric! I can't believe we're here, and it's just a good time to be here because we have a good time, but it's even a better time when West Virginia is 2-0 against the Pitt Panthers in football and basketball, and they beat them handily, handily. I know this is a football show, but every time the Mountaineers spank or smack the taste out of Pitt's mouth, it's a good day.
Absolutely nothing like sweeping them in the same season. That's great.
Yeah, it is. It's good times. I was talking some smack about our basketball team, just playing kind of some smaller schools, looking a little sloppy. Man, they shot well, defended well. Just uh, good job to
The
the
defense was
Falcons.
crazy tonight.
Yeah, and they're only going to get better. The fact that they're picked in the bottom tier of the Big 12 just stumps me, or maybe it's just the fact that Big 12 in basketball is just so good from top to bottom.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Or maybe it's just Pitt really stinks. No, no, I don't think they're terrible. Uh, so this Arizona State week, it's the West Virginia Call-In show on the Voice of College Football. So, if you guys come in the chat and want to hit us up, go ahead. We'll answer any questions you have. But tonight, 8:30, we're a little later than normal because I wanted to make sure we didn't overlap with the basketball game. They wrapped up about 20 minutes ago. Uh, we're going to talk about power moves. Like wasn't Tom Seeger saying night moves? Well, that was kind of like running through my head because Rich Rod's making some moves. Ren Baker's making some moves. The university is going to be renovating, and they didn't take me up on the Renovation Nation. Where they, or Rock the Block, where everyone gets a section and you have 5 different designers come in. My wife watches that, and I have to admit I watch it too. It's fun. I don't think they're going to do that. Maybe have like a pepperoni roll room, and maybe a moonshine room, and maybe a banjo room, and what else? A coal room, and
Obviously, a lost opportunity. I mean, this is a $1 billion idea.
yeah. Well, they have a lot of money to work with, so I guess since Penn State is spending $700 million, the $150 million price tag isn't quite as appalling. I mean, just think 15 years ago, if you'd have said you're going to spend $150 million on a press box they call it, what do they call it? The South Wing, or what is the wing they call it?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but they said, I was reading today and they called it a certain wing. Talk a little bit about that. We're going to touch on that, but Rich Rod and how he's kind of really doing a good job recruiting. We're going to go through some of the players and also some of the players that decommitted and talk about that. And then we're going to close the show off with Arizona State and also who has the best chance to win the Big 12. Well, Eric, here we go. We're going to talk recruiting. And this week, all of the podcasts seem to be doing it. It's just like I write something down and I swear there's like maybe a spy camera or something or someone just is reading my mind, but it has been lively with recruiting, so it is a good topic. So basketball and football have been doing a great job of recruiting, and we talk a little bit about West Virginia being, well, you can say, what did we say? They were like 44th overall.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and they have 17 total recruits that have signed. But, the thing that blows my mind, guys, is, here we are. It was 2025, and they're securing 2026 and looking at 2027, guys. And there have been some notable guys that flipped both ways. Okay. So let's talk about the commitments and flips. If I mispronounce these guys' names, I'm sorry. I have written down, but Mackie Boone, he's a D-back, 2026 recruit. He recently just gave WVU the thumbs up, and he's leaving a commitment elsewhere, but he looks to be able to make a difference next year, or if not next year, the year after that. So another guy, Aiden Woods, is an offensive lineman, and this guy flipped from his commitment from an ACC school to the Mountaineers. So this would literally be a big, big win for the Mountaineers because they're a little bit light. And I don't mean weight-wise. They just don't have a lot of depth at that offensive line position. And Eric, Keon Hutchkins is a JUCO wide receiver, and Mountaineers just offered him, and he officially committed to WVU as a JUCO transfer. To kind of help out the offense a little bit, this guy's a lanky guy, Cade Bush, like him. He's one of the few guys I've watched. I was watching Mountaineer Paul. Mountaineer Paul watched hours of tape. I don't have the time to do that. I kind of go through, and if someone looks a little bit like they might be a monster, I kind of watch a video or two, but I don't spend an hour on these guys. But, he recently just said, hey, I'm coming. And, I'm feeling really good about the Mountaineers, and I think this Cade Bush kid at tight end could be one of the 2026 class that really, really pitches in and makes a difference next year. Another cat, this is a Penn State defensive line commit. Okay, both these cats. Isaac Chukwar, I think that's it. Kevin Brown, I can say Kevin Brown. One's a defensive lineman, Isaac is, and Kevin is his dad played for the Mountaineers. So he has a little bit of he knows about the program basically from what his dad's telling him how great the Mountaineers are. But no, both have visited and or are considering Mountaineers as part of their weighing their options. I think it's down to like 3 or 4 schools for each of these guys. But Brown has been teasing Mountaineer Paul through text by wearing gloves that he's going to be a Mountaineer. But hey, I have to see his butt in the facility and with the gear, all the gear, more gear than gloves though. But so with those guys, anybody kind of just anybody you can think of maybe I missed, or like maybe there's a couple spots that we really need to focus on. But before I get in the decommits, any thoughts, Eric?
No, I agree with your takes, and we had spoken in previous shows about where we were competing with other schools, and it seems like the schools that we're competing with now, they're higher level schools. So definitely, that's always a favorable thing. Cade, I look for him to, like you said, I'd look for him to be a contributor. I don't know about like right away, but
Right.
West Virginia's offense has been moving increasingly towards using the tight end. So absolutely great to land him.
Now, this was I think today or last night, but I saw a lot of sad pandas, frowny face emojis. A guy named Justin Lyles, a 2026 offensive lineman. He was initially going to come to the Mountaineers, but flipped to go to Marshall. Eric, did you see that?
I did.
Uh,
I indiscretion of youth, you know.
yeah, I don't know what happened there. He might I don't know. Well, I don't know what Huntington has that Morgantown doesn't. Maybe he's a big fan of green. Jet Walker. Man, I was excited about him. He's running back. He flipped. I think he's going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like a monster. He had a thick neck looking fullback type of kid, a little quick twitchy, side to side. Good lateral speed for being a big dude. Man, that bummed me out. So those are the decommitments. Now that we have that bad news out of the way, let's talk about some targets, guys that are on the radar for the Mountaineers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of the turmoil at Penn State, Virginia Tech. Where else? Oh, LSU. Uh, with those spots having coaching vacancies, guys that are committed to those programs are kind of thinking, maybe I should open up my commitment. Well, one of those guys is Matt Sieg. Okay. He's a Whitfield guy from Pennsylvania, my neck of the woods. And he was committed to Penn State, and he is a monster. He is just a specimen. Now, he has scheduled 2 visits to the Mountaineers. He's coming this week. This week he's coming. Or not this week. Texas Tech week, so 2 weeks.
There we go.
And West Virginia's going to take another crack at this kid. And I am crossing my fingers, Eric, that Rich Rod lands him. What are your thoughts on Matt Sieg? Have you seen this guy?
I really haven't. I really don't know much of anything about him, so enlighten me.
Well, he is a defensive lineman, and he's 6'5". I don't know what his weight is, like 270, and he is just a beast. He's from Harrisburg, PA, and he is just abusing high school seniors and juniors in the Whitfield playoffs right now. So if you want to Google him, it's not pretty. He likes to do the pancake. I think he plays offensive line and defensive line in high school, but I think he's more of a defensive guy for college. Another defensive lineman is J.D. Hill. And this guy is from California. I don't know how the hell West Virginia can attract kids from California. If California is like another country to most people from West Virginia, just the culture. It's 3-hour flight or 3.5-hour flight away. But this kid's considering West Virginia. Okay. He went and looked at another Big 12 school, but West Virginia remains on his top 5 list. So I just scratched my head that the West Virginia Mountaineers, you got Texas. I can see Texas and Florida, but to get a kid from California, that's a big win. It goes back to what we're saying, Eric. West Virginia is competing, aggressively pursuing highly rated 2026 and 2027 kids that are looking at Power 4 schools. No longer, Eric, are we just focused on, hey, you're looking at Kent State? Oh, you're looking at Ohio? Not Ohio State, but Ohio? You don't want to be a Bobcat. You want to be a Mountaineer. No, guys. We are literally competing against other Big 12 schools, Big 10 schools, ACC schools. The staff is leveraging these visits during home games, utilizing the fact that the Mountaineers have a fantastic rabid fan base, and they're using these trips to swing these commits from other programs. And after we've seen what happened with Houston was number 22, the Mountaineers went there. And it was lukewarm. It was not it didn't feel like a away game. When I was watching on TV, I didn't hear the fans. The stands looked pretty much empty. We looked on our show and tickets were $17. So it's pretty easy to compete against that when you got Rich Rod, who is he's a character. You got the Mountaineer fans, and then maybe Santa Claus might be good to some donors if they kind of give us, I don't know. I'm not opposed to come to people's doors and doing lap dances with my clothes on. So maybe get a couple recruits in the door.
So if I can jump in there real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Just waiting.
So the notion that I don't know that we haven't been competing. I don't know that you necessarily said that, but I think we have been competing with other schools, bigger programs. Yeah. But especially the better talent doesn't really commit until later in the season because they know they can wait, and they're waiting to see who's making moves, who's going to generate the best opportunities for them, and so naturally that's what we're seeing. But the thing that's great in that to me is that we're still getting we are getting recruits this late. The fact that we're just getting recruits this late, when, like you said, when you look at the other schools that are competing for these kids, these are good programs.
Right.
So yeah, I only look for that to continue.
Yeah, and the guys are targeting. Got a little list here. I'm going to go through. I'm going to look through them here. Got well, these guys. If you're a sweaty recruiting nerd, you've heard of these folks, but most of these folks you haven't. You have to look them up. Taylor Brown is one I had to look up. He's 250 pounds. I think he's a pancake shy of 6'4". Okay, what do they have listed here? 6'3". So he's from Dr. Henry Wise High School in Upper Marlboro. That sounds like a cigarette factory, Maryland. I'm just thinking about red, black, and white cigarette cartons now. He's listed as a top target for the 2025 class. Now, West Virginia is he's warm. You know how like on the ratings that they have like on 24/7 and a lot of these scouting reports, they say if they're lukewarm, they're cool, or they're hot. Mountaineers are actively also, they're trying to get some defensive backs, Eric, and some wide receivers because they're short of those cats now. I mean, we have a couple talented guys, but they're hurt. Now, they're trying to flip some high-profile guys from other schools. Now, we talked about Rich Rod being a buzzard and kind of swooping in. I would say he's a hawk, not a buzzard. And with Arkansas losing their coach, I think the cat's name is Jaden Ballard. He's a defensive back, and Cade Bush is a tight end. Cade Bush was the Arkansas guy. Now they have committed to West Virginia recently, so we'll see how that pans out if they stay on the West Virginia books. There also was an early enrollee. He's going to be going to school in January, but his name slips me. He was a receiver, so that's going to be fun. West Virginia also is looking at a guy named Dana Greenhow. Yes, his name is Dana Greenhow. He's a defensive back from Purdue. So West Virginia thinks they can flip this cat. I don't know, like, is there like a playbook they use when they're trying to flip a guy? I don't think they talk negatively about the other program. I think they just kind of say, well, that's great. You want to go to Purdue, but hey, here in Morgantown, we have X, Y, and Z. And as a Mountaineer, you're going to get, I don't know, pepperoni rolls. I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but they build a relationship through text, and they just try to sweet talk these guys. I just don't, in my mind, I can't wrap my head around. See, my head goes to an old ball coach walking into the high school, sitting in the bleachers, watching a game, maybe talking to the kid after the game. That's what I think of recruiting. So the fact that they're texting these kids while they're actively committed to another school just seems foreign to me. But talk about some JUCO guys, a couple of more wide receivers. Keon Hutchkins, he's a guy that just signed this week, and now like Jet Walker, they lost, but they're looking to kind of fill those voids. Now basketball, there was a couple guys, Miles Sandler popped out on when I was doing a search. He's a really good point guard. He's a 5-star guy. So I'm going to just mention him because the Mountaineers just won, and he's a 5-star guy. And those are the type of guys that Ross Hodge is targeting. So, high school visits now are getting a little bit more love from the program. And I think they're focusing on more of an elite talent, not, I don't want to say leftovers, because this team has showed some character, and there's some really high caliber moral. I guess they have good moral fiber. I think they're good kids. A lot of these kids on this team, if
shown a lot of good character by staying around when a lot of others might have left.
Yeah. So that's my down and dirty with recruiting for this week, Arizona State week. So, Eric, I don't know, buddy. That was my dirty rundown. We have a couple people in the chat. I want to see what Leo had to say. I heard Rod wants to find a fullback. Put 44 on that guy. Put him up the middle, belly, one hole. Just feed that monster. Get him going. I love it, Leo. And yeah, Leo, that guy is a quarterback from California, and he looks like he's about 14. Yeah. It's just like he just looks like, picture day. You look like you're just startled that they're taking a picture next. Take a picture next. He just looks like. Anyways, Leo, good to have you on here. Afton, as usual. I like a fullback. I love to see a fullback. Put them out. Line them up as a tight end if you don't need them right behind
exactly.
the center.
Yep.
Move them around. I mean, a guy with a low center of gravity can get under those pads and push and make some room. I think it's good. I think it's good for football. And I like to see programs doing that. I think there's an NFL team I think the Titans might have a fullback, but I don't know of any. Minnesota might have a fullback. Kind of chat. Hit me up if you know of any programs that still use fullbacks. I know Army did a couple years ago. Navy did. But they run more like a wing T type of thing, like an option read. I don't know. They just a lot of pitches and shovel passes. Yeah, fullback, shovel pass. That's money there. Eric, on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being, take your savings out, bet on gold that the Mountaineers are going to make it and going to win. That's a 10. 1 being no chance in hell. Don't even bother. Okay. What do you think the chances of the Mountaineers winning in Arizona?
This is a good question. We aren't getting a whole lot of respect according to those in Vegas, and Vegas always seems to know things we don't. But I like our chances. Now, do I think that this is a certain win? No, absolutely not. Would this be an upset? Probably still. But right now, I think we have what was it, like a 22% chance to win, according to some people.
What ESPN was telling me.
So these are about the same odds we had against Houston. And
8% against Houston.
There you go.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we have a chance, and I'll jump into that a little bit.
Yeah. Up with what you were telling me before, because I didn't know this.
So Arizona State, I didn't give them a whole lot of respect or love at the beginning of the season because, the notion that they had Cam Scatterbo, you got a guy like that on your team, especially at the collegiate level, he's going to make a huge difference.
Right.
And obviously he did last year. I mean, they had a tremendous season. Well, there aren't too many Cam Scatterbos in this world, period. That's why he's been so effective even in the NFL before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, Arizona State had lightning strike again. They have not one, but 2 guys who are probably going to be first-round draft picks next year. Their quarterback and their receiver, and to have them on the same side of the ball and both at skilled positions, that's very unusual. First-round draft picks, especially, no disrespect to Arizona State, but that doesn't happen to them very often. So they have their 2 big playmakers out for this game. They have some questions like we have. The interior of their offensive line, a lot of uncertainty there. They haven't played real well there. So the notion that if you lose your passing quarterback, your receiver who has, I think he has 600 plus yards this year, and so you're thinking you're going to lean heavily on the run, but then your offensive line, the interior hasn't been great. I don't know. I mean, at that point, I like our chances. We should be able to pressure their quarterback. We should be able to have a good defensive showing. And with the offense, apparently clicking these last, few weeks, I don't see why we can't pull this win off. And certainly that spread of, I think the spread is something like either 10.5 or 11.5 points, depending on who you're looking at. That to me just seems much too high. Seems like it ought to be single digits to me.
Yeah, they had a kid that I was looking up named Jordan Tyson, and he's not going to be able to play this week. He has a hamstring injury. Hasn't played for 2 weeks. Now their receivers coach is a Steelers legend, Hines Ward, 86, one of the most physical, one of the best blocking slot receivers you'll ever see. Uh, but he seems to just plug and play these cats in here. Like he has a guy named Jalen Moss. He had a big touchdown 2 weeks ago against the Cyclones,
Mm-hmm.
and he seems to be just filling in quite nicely. Another cat, Xavier Gilroy, is in. So those are the guys he's going to be targeting. So I think the quarterback's name for is Jeff Sims, right?
Yeah.
And he can sling it. These guys are no
Mm-hmm.
joke. They were handling BYU until the last probably minute and a half, and they just let BYU come back. They thought they had them, and they were playing a prevent, and they just let them kind of chip away and get too close. And with 20 seconds left, BYU tied it, went to overtime, beat Arizona State. Arizona State that day was the better team for all but 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Mountaineers think they can just go in there and turn it on and just these guys are going to roll over, there's no way. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They have a great. It's going to be really hard for the Mountaineers to run against this team.
No, so I remember looking at the win percentage through the course of that game, and up until, like you said, the last minute of the game, um, it was Arizona State's game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why do you think we won't be able to run against them?
They have a pretty good run defense, and it was difficult for, that BYU eventually got their yardage just because the play would break down, the quarterback would scramble.
Mm-hmm.
So, Fox might be able to get some yards there, but it's going to be tough with, we're not exactly deep at the running back position. Also, they're going to be able to, on the offense, this McCain kid, 6'5", over 200 pounds. He's very physical. He's a physical receiver. So they're going to have to. You don't want the defense on the field all damn day. That's for sure. And I just hope that doesn't happen. So that's my take on Arizona State. My 30-second, well, more 30 seconds, but rundown just to give you a heads up on my thoughts. What are your thoughts as far as the rest of the season? Texas Tech's coming into Morgantown in 2 weeks. I know we're getting a cart ahead of the horse, but do you think the Mountaineers are thinking that far ahead, or do you think Rich Rod has blinders on them and they're focused?
I think and that's another one. So people were asking me, what do you think our chances are for a win against Arizona State? And they were asking me this before the last game, and I'm like, folks, let's get this win before we move on. That being said, we get that win. Arizona State looks pretty. I like our chances, and I kind of feel the same for Texas Tech. Right now, I'm not worried about them. I know Rich is talking about going bowling, which implies a win against Texas Tech, which I think, like you're saying, he's using that a little bit as a carrot.
Right.
And Rich has never been big on looking past teams. So for right now, yeah, let's worry about Arizona State. Texas Tech is the juggernaut. They took care of business handily against my Cougs. Um, it was not close. And BYU is a good team. But we got some time before we get there.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching BYU. I have to admit, and they're a fun team to watch. And Texas Tech put it to them. So yeah, that would probably be the biggest win since they beat number 3 Virginia Tech if they can
Hmm.
manage to upset Texas Tech.
Oh, no
Uh,
doubt.
yeah, it would absolutely just change the rotation of the earth, especially in West Virginia. I mean, it would just be like it would be one of those. We talked about it off and on. One of those opportunities where West Virginia gets a chance to shine and they just fall short. That would be one of those big time opportunities. We talked about West Virginia Pitt having a chance to be on game day. Game day's coming to. They're already in Pittsburgh. All the stuff
Hmm.
set up. The Panthers are playing pretty good ball, and Pat Narduzzi is such just a knucklehead. I mean, he's saying that this Notre Dame game is meaningless and all this stuff. What a simpleton! I mean, how can you be in charge of a Power Four school and just come across as such a dipshit? I mean, why would you tell the press that? It's like Eric, like him making his quarterback believe that kids are going to throw batteries. I just bought a pack of batteries at Sam's Club. It was $20. And that's for a big pack. It's $12 for 4 batteries. I don't know. These rich kids in West Virginia just throw AA batteries at. And then the other thing, Eric, what the hell are you using batteries for? That you have like you carrying around a Sony Walkman or Narduzzi? You have a CD player, maybe? I mean,
It,
I don't know. Maybe a mag light or something. I don't know what his deal is, but he is a dipshit. But anyways, enough ranting about Pitt. But Pitt's
well,
playing.
it would have been a great. It would have been a much better cover story if he'd have said we threw crab apples. That's believable.
Yeah, he
But
said kids and babies are throwing batteries or something stupid like that. I mean, it was just really just.
yeah.
And then this poor quarterback they had is just like, yeah, they're going to throw batteries at us, and they're really angry. We're not angry. We're eating pepperoni rolls and getting rolled up and on some shine and just having a good old time before the game. And yeah, we're going to cuss you out and we're going to sing "Sweet Caroline Eat Shit Pit," but that's about it. You get over yourself. Yeah, yeah. Afton doesn't don't ask. She said. Um, okay, Eric. To finish this show out tonight, we're going to go through the chances in the Big 12 football projections. Who has the best chance of winning? Well, of
Mm.
course, we both know Texas Tech is the juggernaut. They are the team to beat. No one has done it, or one team has done it, but they're just the top to bottom. They are a solid team.
Mm.
70.1% chance of winning the Big 12, according to USA Today. Okay. Who do you think is next on my list, Eric?
Oh, it's got to be the Cougs.
BYU. And they're coming in. I'll let you guess, Eric. What do you think the percentage that they're going to win?
The percentage probably be 18%.
Ooh, that's close. 17.8%.
Well, there we go. Okay.
Pretty good.
Well, there's a round off error there.
Utah. I would
Mhm.
think they would be around BYU with a chance to win, maybe around 15%. But no, Utah has a 7.3% chance of pulling away and winning, which is just crazy. Then you have Cincinnati, Arizona State, and Houston. Cincinnati has 3%. The team West Virginia is playing this week has a 1.7% chance. They have to win out, and other teams have to lose. That's why it's just such a low percentage rate. And
Hmm.
Houston, they have 0.2%. So they don't even have a percentage. They have one they have like 2.2% chance. So like 1 out of every 1,000 chance, like 1 in 1,000 chance. So
But you're telling
those
me there's a chance.
so tell me there's a chance. And I just think that's what's that from Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Afton says, wasn't there something about beer too? Well, back in the back in the 80s and 90s, when the Miami Hurricanes would come into town, people were throwing bottles of whiskey at them, empty bottles, because no one would throw a full bottle. Yeah, that's crazy. But at the bus. So beers too. The beers were full, but the bottles were at the bus as they pulled in. So that's where that goes back to. Mountaineer fans have are a lot better behaved now. But
Mm-hmm.
Eric, I'll tell you what, man, I can't believe it. We're just 2 weeks away from the end of the season. And it just seems like yesterday it was August, and we're like, hey, I wonder what the Mountaineers are going to do. And it has been a up and down season. And I have to admit, midway through the season, I was about ready to pull the plug. But I'll tell you what, the team showed up. The kids are playing with some heart. They've been well coached. I thought he was going to lose this team. I thought Rich Rod and company was going to lose the team. And it has been a breath of fresh air. I'm happy to see that. And then I was waiting for the basketball team to lay an egg, and they looked pretty good. So going into Big 12 play, we'll see how the Mountaineer basketball team does. We'll talk maybe a minute every show on that. But Eric, do you have anything for the Mountaineer Nation before we go?
I think it would be interesting this weekend if we see both offenses doing a +1 running scheme, meaning that we're going to run the quarterback a bunch.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I say that is if both teams have troubles on the interior of the offensive line, you've got to do something to how should I say, delay defenses from flooding in. And the one game, I forget which game it was, we were rolling out Scotty Fox quite a bit. I'd love to see us do that again.
Yeah, when that pocket collapses and Nico wasn't escaping, if you beat him to the outside, it makes him have to keep contained.
I think it was a TCU game, exactly.
Yeah,
so, but the other thing you can do with that is if you're already running, you basically can do some RPO. So, other than that, it's going to be a great game. We'll see if Vegas knows something this time.
Yeah, West Virginia's making power moves, and so is Caden Diesel Freak. He's going to have a show Friday. So, guys, hey, thanks for the super chat, Caden. I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to let you go with, obviously, it's going to be the great state of West Virginia's flag. And, join the cast of the Voice of College Football's West Virginia show as they do a pregame before the show. I think around 10:30. I did it last week, and it was a hoot. We had a lot of folks in the chat, and it was lively, and we had a great show. And then they're going to do a post game, usually 15 minutes after the game. So join Frank's here and Greg Christ on the Voice of College Football pregame and postgame show. And of course, Eric and I are here every Monday at 9. And then we try to make it 8 on Thursday, but there was a basketball game. I didn't want to compete with the basketball game, especially when the Mountaineers are playing the Pitt Panthers. And Eric, thanks again. Best wishes. Mountaineer kisses from from Pennsylvania here. Guys, I will see you next week, and I'll see you at Mountaineer Field against Texas Tech in 2 weeks. Guys, good night.